Hey guys, it's Deborah. I just want to do a really quick video just about the Luke 13:7 parable of the barren fig tree, just a follow up to that. So I got curious because, as you guys know, I had linked or told you guys about a video that I did called Cut It Down. I made it 8 months ago. I'm going to put it in the comment section. I'm going to pin it to the comments. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. Anyway, I went back to watch that video because I wanted to see what was I really saying back then about the barren fig tree, because I got caught up with what people are saying now. And I remember back then I was praying on it, and I just keep feeling the Lord say, like, I'm trying to not to make it a big deal about myself, or make me seem like I know more than others or put myself in a position of pride or anything like that. So I just started going along with what people are saying now. And what people are saying now about this fig tree and our departure and the tribulation is that it's related to Revelation 12 sign. And I kept hearing people talking about that, but I was thinking, I didn't think that. And I just kind of went along with it. And so I thought maybe I should go back and watch my video, because I actually, prayed on it back then. I remember really praying on it because it just came out of nowhere. And so I thought, this must be from the Lord, so I better pray on it. And sorry if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but basically this parable relates to what I thought was 3 years from 2017 to 2020. And then it says, let me read it. For 3 years now, I've been coming to look for fruit on this fig tree and haven't found any. Cut it down. Why should it use up the soil? So basically after that happens, he says, give it one more year. Actually, I'm going to give it one more year, dung it, meaning like throw manure on it. And then if it doesn't bear fruit, then cut it down. So it's a 4-year parable. It's been explained away that it's regarding, Stephen's martyrdom. It's a long story, but if you watch my video, I will put it in the comment section. Like I said, then it'll explain everything. You don't have to rewatch it, but if you want to, I explain everything in there. Why I don't think it was about Stephen, but it could be, but I didn't think so. And there's no other logical explanation for this parable except for it to be a futuristic prophetic thing. So that's why when I had prayed about it, I thought it was about 2017 to 2020 and then 2020 to 2021. But the difference is nowadays, lately, people are talking about it, they're on this thing, and they were talking about Revelation 12, and they're relating it to, they were trying to link it to September 23rd, that's when it ends. But I never really got a great feeling about that, but then I didn't take the time to remember, well, what did I say back then? So it had, to me, nothing to do with Revelation 12 sign. That was a massive, amazing sign. It was a huge deal, but it's not what I had said back then. So I just want to present this to you guys, and you do with it what you will. Take it to God in prayer. So what I had said when I made this video called Cut It Down, I think I had made videos before that as well. From when I re-listened to the video, it sounds like I made more videos. So I don't know. I haven't looked for my old videos, but I'm going to have to pray on this again. But what it sounds like I was saying was, when I prayed and asked God, well, when does this start? When does this 4-year period start? I heard when Trump declared Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, which is so random. I know. I don't know why I heard that. So yeah, so I just did some time and date calculation for you guys. I didn't feel it had a connection to Revelation 12. And even now, when you think about it, that parable was directly to the Jews. Like, I mean, it's for all of us. I don't like to say it like that. Like, it's for all of us, but I just mean, he was talking about Israel and a time where they were going to get a second chance to turn themselves around. That's what the parable is about. They're the fig tree. It has nothing to do, in my opinion, with having to be a time of the ecclesia, the church. So when was there a time when Israel really had a chance to spend time and turn back to God? And then did it get worse for them for the last year? And I don't know why that's what I felt like the Lord showed me about the time when Israel became, or not when Israel became a nation, when Jerusalem was declared the capital. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, I think it had a relation to Israel and Trump, that basically they made him, instead of it being a time when they could have really sought the Lord, they instead sought DJT. I keep saying his name. I don't know if I should or shouldn't, but they saw DJT as their salvation and answer. Now, I don't know if this 4-year count started from when Jerusalem was declared a nation. That's just what I said in that video. So I'll trust that. But again, just take it to the Lord. I just want to present you with some time periods, and the date that I'm going to show you is not related to the rapture. It's related to when Israel will be cut down. So when Jacob's trouble will begin. So, which would mean the pre-tribulation rapture would have to happen before these dates. If this is right, if that's what I was shown. Okay. So I'm going to present you with the dates, and then, which you can do the math yourself pretty easy, but I'm going to show you 2 different dates when it would be cut down. Okay. So the first date is pretty obvious. It's literally 4 years from when Jerusalem was declared capital. So it was declared capital on December 6, 2017, and that would bring you to December 5th, 2021. So that's just literally 4 years. Now that's 1,460 days. Now I have a more interesting time. Because this parable is literally talking about dealing with Israel and them getting a chance. Like, think about this parable. It's about them getting a chance. They've been tended to. They've been nurtured. That's what the parable is about. It really has nothing to do with, in my opinion, the ecclesia. So, the church. So, but it relates to us because when Jacob's trouble starts, we know that's when, the part of the church is out of here. So, my point is, it does relate to us, but not directly. So yeah, here you have 1,460 days, and it brings you to December 5th, 2021. That's when they would be cut down. Now, if that's the case, okay? Again, I kept going on what people were saying recently that, it's about Revelation chapter 12. I'm not saying that's wrong. Maybe they're right. I don't know. But I like to stand on if I pray on something and I hear something, I have to stand in belief on that. So I'll just stand in belief on that and not other people's words. I don't know if these people prayed on that. I think they prayed on the parable and they've come to realize it's a thing. But I don't know if they prayed on when did it start and why. You got to think why and who is he talking to? And I'm not using hyper dispensationalism. It was a dispensation of time, yes, but I'm not trying to be, so stuck on that, he was just talking to Jewish people. But inevitably, the parable is about Israel. It's about the fig tree and it being cut down at a certain point because it's not listening. And it would make sense that from 2020 to 2021, I should have done the calculation for that there was a time period. And did something happen on that date for it to be dunged exactly 1 year after exactly 3 years after December 6, 2017. I didn't look into that. But let me show you the other date, which I think is actually more significant. Now, I think this is more significant because we are dealing with Israel at this point. That parable is literally talking about the fig tree. And so I thought I'd use 360 the year, instead of 365. So I calculated 360 times 4 years, and it's actually 1,440 days. Now, 144 is an interesting number because obviously the 144,000 sealed, the Jewish males all the stuff about the Jewish males anyway, from the different tribes. So that alone is interesting. So this is calculating from the day that Jerusalem was declared the capital by Trump, and for 4 years, 360-day years. So it brings you to November 15th, 2021. So you have 2 dates here that would be about Israel being cut down. They are not rapture dates. So you have December 6th and November 15th. So these 2 dates, I'm just putting it out there. Either one could be related to the 4 years ending. Again, I never thought it was related to the Revelation 12 sign, but I kind of just went along with that. I'm not putting it down. I don't know where it came from. It makes sense. It's smart, but it's not when I prayed about it all that time ago, that's not what I heard. And I should have went back. The minute I heard that though, I was like, so people are waiting for like September 23rd, kind of, for many reasons. There's that dragon event and all this productive programming with 923 and all this different stuff. But I thought something didn't sit right because I was like, wait, that's not what I thought. But I should have gone back. I should have checked. But anyway, I'm doing that now. So basically, I would say it's a big possibility that the Jacob's trouble would start by November 15th or December 5th or 6th, which would mean, we would be leaving sometime before that. Okay, so that's just a possibility. But as I was talking, I just got to thinking, I was making this video, I really should check, did something happen at the exact 3-year mark? And I used the 3-year mark from the time that Jerusalem was declared the capital, 3 years, did something happen? So those 3 years would be the time that Israel was being nurtured. And it would also be the time that instead of they had this temptation and then they fell into that temptation. I'm not just saying every Jew. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like just in general, the leaders fell into the temptation of, leaning on DJT for their answers and their hope and all this stuff instead of God. So did something happen 3 years after it was declared a nation? Exactly. So I was like, I really do have to look this up. So interesting, something did happen to the day. And I decided to count 360-day years because I just feel like this seems more legit. Like, I think right now, there's all this calendar stuff, but I think right now there's I don't know if you should use the word respect, or there's a acknowledgement of the calendar that we Gentiles use because we're the church. So 365-day years. There's so much that happens on our actual Gregorian dates, like 1948 and signs and things like that actually happen because they're for us. They're signs for us. They're signs for the Jews. It has to make sense to the people it's going to. But for the barren fig tree parable, I mean, it would make sense that it's just all related to the Hebrew calendar and Jews and everything to do with them. So I decided, let's see 3 years to the day using 360 days. And what day does that bring you to? So it brings you to November 20th, 2020. 2020. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, did something happen on November 20th, 2020? I hope you guys are following me. So I calculated, you can see right there from December 6th, 2017, when Jerusalem was declared the capital, 3 biblical Jewish years, not 365 days. Did anything happen on November 20th, 2020 that would be the time when the vine dresser, or whatever you want to call him, the owner of the fig tree, came and said, this tree is not doing any good, cut it down, and then it was given one more year, one more chance? So did anything happen November 20th, 2020 to the day? Well, this did happen. I looked it up. Trump and Pompeo embrace Israel one state reality. So this happened, if you can see here, exactly November 20th, 2020. There was like a surprise visit. And this is from the Washington Post, and I'll read a little bit from then. But like I said, exactly on the day, there was this surprise visit of Pompeo to Israel to embrace this one state reality. So instead of the fig tree bearing fruit, and it's given this one more year. So now you have this year starting from this date, November 2020. This is what's happened. So this, on the day, it says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo laid the capstone, which that's supposed to be Jesus, this week on the Trump administration's 4-year ideological project in Israel. Isn't that interesting? It's a 4-year project. And it was that day he laid it. Pompeo made an unprecedented visit to settlements located in the West Bank. So it was like this shocking visit he made on the day. And the Golan Heights, making the first time the U.S. Secretary of State has appeared at such sites, which much of the world views as illegal, and in many instances a direct obstacle to a viable Palestinian state. So this was this whole 2-state thing. He was putting the capstone on it or whatever. All I'm saying is, look, it even talks about a 4-year project. And I don't know when it was to start, but it might have started when Jerusalem was declared the capital. And he went on the day, November 20th, 2020. So I hope you guys are following me. I hope it makes sense to you. This wasn't supposed to be long, but it's just kind of a nod to why you need to listen to the Holy Spirit too, and not just use your own brain. Our brains are important. We're to worship in spirit and truth. So the truth is the word of God. And so we have to use that and research. And yes, we were given brains, but the spirit is what's going to help us here. And so I should have, said something before, because people are all looking to 923 and all this stuff. And I should have said okay, if I even rewatched my video, I would see what I was even hinting at. So, I think this is amazing because basically it kind of fits with so many other things. And I don't know if it's, I'm just going to sit in faith and believe I heard right and just stay like that for now. So again, just to recap, what's happening is that when I made that video, again, I'll put it in the comment section. It's been a while since I made a very long while. So basically, like I said, I prayed and I heard that this parable is related to the time that started when Jerusalem was declared capital. And then I did the biblical year count and the regular year count. I think the biblical year count, the 360-day years, makes the most sense, which brings you from the time it was declared as capital, December 6, 2017, 360-day years, 360-day years brings you to November 15th, 2021. And again, that's not a rapture date. That would be the date it was cut down. It's interesting date too, because like I said, it's 1,440 days from the date that Jerusalem was declared capital, which is 144. It's like a significant number, and it's so related to the Jews. Like, it's so related. So it could really be a thing. Like I said, if it's for regular years, calendar years, 365 days, then you're looking at obviously 4 exact years. So December 5th or 6th, 2021. Okay, again, this is not a rapture date. I'm talking about when it's cut down, but it's related. So we would leave prior to that. And so that's really, really interesting. And like I said, there is a gap in this parable, and it gives you 3 years and then 1 more year. So if you calculate from the date that Jerusalem was declared a capital, December 6th, 2017, and you go 3 biblical years, you get to November 20th, 2020, which is very interesting. And there's 3 2s there, 222. That's like rapture. I don't know what that might be, but it's interesting. It's November 20th, 2020. And that was literally the day that Pompeo, quote unquote, laid the capstone on the 4-year project for DJT and dividing Israel in the 2-state solution and all this stuff. So this is all very interesting. Again, it all just lines up. And yeah, I didn't do the calculation, 365-day years from December 6th, when Jerusalem was declared capital, 2017, 3 like Gregorian years, where that would bring you. I didn't do that. You can do that yourself if you want, but it looks like that other number seems more right, which means we would be out of here before, the end of November. So, because that's when Jacob's trouble will start. And I'm a firm believer of pre-tribulation rapture for all the reasons I've said a million times. So anyway, I didn't make a chart. I hope you guys can follow this. I've heard much more confusing videos, much, much more. So yes, sometimes I ramble a bit, but in general, I think I talk pretty directly. I talk fast, but I think I say things in a way that is digestible, that you guys can understand. I repeat myself. I try to add pictures. Anyway, I do the best I can, but I think it's understandable. So if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Like I said, I'll pin my original video from a long time ago in the comments if you haven't seen it. It kind of goes into a little bit more about why I don't think this parable is about the Stephen being martyred. That's the only logical explanation that anybody has had that I've found. And I go into that a little bit if you want to hear more. I think I posted a video. I think when I made the video, I was talking about a lot sooner time periods because I didn't know when it should all play out. So I think I thought it would be cut down like last year or something. I don't know what I was talking about in that, but I didn't do some solid calculations. I think I linked some other people's videos in it. I didn't listen to my whole video. I just kind of focused on when did I think this 4-year period started? And the only thing I remember is I didn't think it had anything to do with the Revelation 12 sign, because this whole thing is literally about Israel. Now, like I said, there's no need to watch my original video because I'm kind of summing it up for you here. But if you're interested, it's there. It might confuse you a little because I'm talking about all these different dates all over, and that was quite a while ago. So I'm bringing up old time periods and stuff like that. But you go ahead. It still all works out and matches. But anyway, I hope this blessed you. It all works out. And then the last thing I just wanted to say quickly, this is supposed to be a lot shorter, but it's okay. I wanted to say quickly was, I wanted to remind people again about this whole 11th hour phenomenon. There's a lot of things, people talking about 11:11. There's this 11:11 phenomenon. There's a dark side to those numbers, and there's like an interesting, biblical side of those numbers. I've done videos on it. I've shown people who had dreams about it. There's a whole thing with that. But what I want to just focus on, what the Lord showed me, is the 11th hour. There's a lot to do with the 11th hour. And he personally walked me through that because of my birth story with my twins. I said before, I was pregnant with twins. I was supposed to have a C-section. I wanted to do everything natural because obviously for a million reasons, there's a lot of reasons. But if you have to have it, you have to have it. But there was no reason for me to have it. Like, nothing was wrong. People just like to do that with twins, doctors. And a long story. But anyway, it was all set in stone. They were going to do this, and I felt it wasn't a good idea. I didn't want to do this. I had people praying all over the place about me not having to do this. And I had 2 small children at home. I was like, I don't want to be under, like, have surgery and all this stuff when there's no reason. So anyway, I finally gave up. When I finally gave up, because I was literally, my surgery date was booked for October 19th. And my surgery date was booked. And I gave up by the end. I had been praying and praying and praying, and I was really nervous. It was really a hard time because I just didn't want the surgery. And I remember I got into the shower on October 18th, and pain began. And it's like that moment, pain began. So one day before the surgery was booked. And the minute the pain began, I was like, this is it. And I know there's going to be some moment, I think, when just for a second, I think we're going to be like, this is it, before we actually get caught up. I could be wrong, but that's how it went down for me. And I remember the Lord saying, like, it's going to be like your birth story. This is why I say it's the 11th hour. We're going to be pushed to the 11th hour, I believe. I just really believe that from this personal experience. And so when I had that pain, the babies, I delivered them so fast, they couldn't cut me. I actually went to the room where they do the surgery. I didn't even get to go in a normal labor room because they wanted to do it so bad. I had to beg. I'm literally in pain, screaming, well, not screaming, but really upset and horrible pain. They were coming so fast. They came so fast. Nothing like my other 2 kids. And basically I had to beg them not to do the surgery. They had to call my doctor, who was on the road driving to the hospital. And she said, you can try with 1 baby, but if anything goes wrong, you cut with the second. They were literally going to have me deliver 1 baby one way and cut another. This is how much I felt like the enemy wanted to cut those babies out. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I just believe that. It was so intense. They had me, they were trying to do everything it took to cut. And I delivered the first baby, fine. 7 minutes later, so they're 7 minutes apart, they were going to cut, and I said, I feel the baby's coming, it's fine, whatever. Obviously, I wasn't calm like that, but the point is, the other one came out super healthy, big weights, like good weights, 6 pounds for being twins. They were just like an ounce under 6 pounds, and they were like, which is really good for twins, and healthy and just perfect. So my point is, it felt like when I gave up and said, I'm getting this surgery, I remember I was, when you get to the point where you still trust God, you love him and everything, but you're just done. You've asked a million times. And I was just like, this is my reality, I guess, like, whatever. That's when he came for me, and he delivered me literally like a woman in travail. He literally, this story is exactly that. And it came right the day before the destruction was going to happen. I call the surgery like the destruction. 1 day before. 1 day. That's why I say the 11th hour. So if you're at a situation where your life is like, what am I literally going to do? Well, I have seen this happen where it is literally the day before the problem. It could be the hour before, the minute. So before destruction comes, cut it down. I've given you these 2 dates, in November and December, and this would be dates of cutting it down. I'm just saying, up until that point, I'm literally thinking it's the last moment. Now, if I don't have it right, and it's not about when Jerusalem declared the capital, then none of that matters. But, and this parable could still remain, viable and true to this prophetic situation. But I believe it is that. I mean, that Mike Pompeo thing in November 2020, laying the capstone for the 4-year project right at the 3-year mark to the date, if you calculate using those 360-day years. I mean, that was pretty, wow. I didn't know that I would even go there on this video. So, I mean, it all kind of fits. But again, I don't have a specific day, but I just wanted to encourage you with that 11th hour moment, that when I went through that, he totally brought my mind back to it. When I got into end times and understanding where we're at and all this stuff, he brought my mind back to that day in the shower and how this all happened. And it was the day before. And it was kind of like when you're just like, it's not in my strength. It's not in your strength. And that's the thing. When you're just like, I give it over. It's no longer in my strength. I trust you. I love you. But, I got nothing else. I got nothing else in my strength. I've prayed. I've asked. I'm going to stand in faith and just wait. I should have been in faith and just said, I don't know how, but I'm going to deliver naturally. And these babies are going to be okay. even though tomorrow is my surgery. And, you know, I don't know what I was thinking at that moment, but I'm pretty sure I had given up, and I was thinking, no, that's not going to happen. I probably in the back of my mind thought it's still a possibility. I didn't fully lose faith, but anyway, that's how we have to be right now. We literally have to be like, okay, everything is completely just a mess in the world, and our situations and everything. Back up against the wall. Looks like there's no hope. It's literally the Red Sea, on one end and the Pharaoh's army on the other, and you're just like, okay, it's all up to you, God. It's in your hands. Like, there's nothing left for me to do. So anyway, I thought this was all interesting, and I wanted to refer you back to what I originally had thought. And it's fine that other people thought different things, and that's, whatever. I just ask that I just recommend, and I do this to myself as well, that you seek the Lord, the Holy Spirit, you pray and ask questions and wait for an answer. Before guessing, I do that too, though. The guessing, it can lead to some other issues sometimes, like making people stumble, or, I don't know. Like, and I'm not saying I get it right for sure all the time, for sure, but the guessing can be problematic, and I guess too. Even in the video that I link, I was guessing, and it didn't really mean anything. This is not so much based on a guess, as in I prayed, I asked, and I heard that. It pretty much fits really good. If we go past that time, then I guess we'll discuss then. But at this point, that's what I'm looking at, is that's when the tree is cut down, sometime around then. So before then, we would be gone. So, okay, I hope that blessed you guys, and I guess I'll catch you in the next one, or hopefully see you in the air. So until next time, God bless and shalom.